up here.
And Alex filled in last minute because we had someone that wasn't able to make it. And so I started calling, and he was the one who was like, yeah, I want to do this. So anyway, he's on.
We'll start at the top.
Really hard on it. Super fast, and so you have a little bit of baton vibrato, so we know you're just a little nervous, which is good. You know, nerves are good energy. You just want to do well. That's all that is. I know you're not scared. You're just nervous, which is great. Okay, couple of big things to start off with. You're very active on the podium. That's the first thing, right? And being drum major has helped you because you are very comfortable up here in your movement. I would love to see you just be a little bit more planted and not be so active with the feet. Now, if you take this podium away, I am very active up here. I was doing a region band in Texas a couple weeks ago, and they didn't have a podium, and I was able to go everywhere, and it was so liberating. Because I love to move. Like, I love to so I'm being hypocritical when I tell you to stand still a little bit. But I also believe that you need to be able to move standing still before you can start going. Because if you start the other way, eventually it's going to topple. Something I'll mention later. You know, conducting, you have to grow the root system in 360 degrees. And where you are, you need to, that's what you're thinking. It's like, how can I grow the root system out this way and not up this way? Right? So this is one of those things. You're going to grow the root system by planting your feet, no pun intended, to be able to focus more on the movement up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's number one. Let's go back to the beginning and let's take a better tempo.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can feel free to smile at them every now and then. Just not at your brother.
Got it. Right. That's my brother. He plays trumpet.
You know, Marcellus, they are related. Yeah. All right. Think about the tempo you want to go before you ever start. How far should your feet be apart, by the way? Those are cool shoes.
Thanks.
Yeah, good. I want you to feel the tripod. So here, here, and back there. I want you to feel that sort of grounding you into the floor like that. You know those like camera stands that you have the little tripod, like the iPhone stand? You've seen those? That's what it should feel like.
Okay.
You, are you okay with that? Your head tends to go forward a little bit, which is going to put your back out of alignment. So you want to think about trying to keep this all flat back here, right? Your torso is good, right? This is good. Like this is expanded nicely, so that's all looks really nice. Just be careful you don't collapse. And you're a little bit taller, So the tendency for you probably is going to be to collapse a little bit, just to go down towards them. Don't use this to your advantage to stay tall, right? So your big is going to be big, and you don't ever actually conduct too big, actually, which is good. I would just stay and bring the music more towards you at all costs, okay? That's one thing. Now I'm going to ask you something else. Again, I wish I could hear what you hear. What are you hearing as they go through? Like, what do you hear? Just talk to me.
I think the mix up on tempos, we're not all still agreeing at the same time, so we're not aligned perfectly in certain places. Sounds like we've played this a lot of times.
Yeah. What are the 4 big areas of listening when you're up here? Like if you had to whittle down everything you have to listen to as a conductor into 4 things, what would they be?
Balance.
Okay.
Dynamics or phrasing. That's 2.
That's part of another one.
Okay.
We're going to call that musicianship.
Okay.
So we have balance and musicianship. We have 2 more. You mentioned it just a second ago when you talked about vertical alignment. Time. May I call it pulse? Would that be okay? All right. So we have pulse, balance, musicianship, and there's still one more. Arguably the most important of all. Just keep thinking. You're a good musician. Starts with a toe, ends with n.
Oh, tone.
There you go. Yeah, so we have tone, pulse, balance, and artistry or musicianship, right? Okay, if you're listening for all 3 of those things, which is the reason I ask is you immediately went to pulse first. You're like, things aren't lining up correctly, right? When you listen to that, I want you to go back through. First of all, which one do you think you hear the best out of those? And by the way, you could take each of those components and break them into like 18 different subcomponents, right? You already broke musicianship into 2, dynamics and phrasing. Which one do you think you hear the best?
Personally?
Yeah. Everybody's different, by the way.
Probably time. Right now
Good.
in my
Yeah.
where I am.
Okay, good. So you're identifying that. So while you listen to time, you then have to check in like, well, how's the tone? And you mentioned balance too. You mentioned dynamics, right? So let's go back to the beginning and see if you can focus more on listening for tone quality.
Okay.
And see if that can change. And here's where I'm going with this. Gesture should equal sound. That's where we're heading. The road you and I are driving down, the town is called gesture equals sound. So I want you to think more about tone, which hopefully will influence the gesture that you make to get the sound that you want, okay? Don't worry about the time. Let them deal with time. Because my philosophy with time is ensembles are either helping or hurting, right? And whose responsibility is time? Yours. It's not the conductor's. We can adjust it, but it's their responsibility. Let's think about tone a little bit. Okay, here's the beginning. What are our 4 areas of listening again?
Balance, musicianship, tone, time.
And pulse, yeah. Pulse. Let's think all about tone. Good. Now, what are the 3 tools we have as a conductor? I mentioned them earlier. Do you remember?
Limbs, torso, face.
Face. Okay, which one of those is more focused tone-wise? What do you think? Which one can influence tone the most?
Face? Limbs. Torso.
There it is. Yeah, why does the torso influence tone the most? What does it take to play a wind instrument? Wind, and where does that come from in our body? Yeah, the torso. So the torso can be most responsible for tone. So if you want something to be toneful, you must breathe. And you must breathe to cause visual expansion. Breathe to cause visual expansion. That way the tone will darken, because we want dark sound. We want things to be dark. Here, our colors are maroon and white. So we talk a lot about when we do concert F or we do daily drill every day, we want our sound to be dark maroon. That's what we're going for. Sometimes we have a little yellow and shades of gray and we're like, no. We want it to be the most boring box of crayons on the planet. You know, like I say this before, we go to Walmart, you get a big box of 100 crayons, you open it up and it's all maroon. You're like, I'm screwed. But that's what bands should be, right? Where you are, you go black, right? Gold probably is not so much. You know, that's a little bright. You want the darker color. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so see if you could use your torso more to get a darker sound.
Okay.
Again, gesture equals sound. Here we go. That was all mouth. I didn't see your torso move at all. Try again. Good. Yeah, good. So you're actively trying to get your torso. I never watched any of your hands or your face. I was only watching to see if your torso would move. So anytime you want darker sound, this will work better when you do something slow too. But the more torso action you have, the better. So you have to breathe, right? Your torso is pretty locked still. It's pretty fixed. So we want you to get to move that a little bit more. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the spot where we kind of bombed. Can we go to 6? Is it 6? Is that where the accelerando happens at 6, right? Is it 6 the accelerando?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's go at 6. Tick, 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 tick. Freeze. Don't move. Stay right where you are. Don't move. Notice the difference. See that? We're going to go back here. I'm going to make a lightsaber noise. There you go. Now that's out in front of you. So if you take your left hand, set it across your body, so it's straight, and then you rest that right there. This is the perfect amount of space. This way, if you have a little too much to eat for breakfast, right, and the stomach's just a little bigger, your arm is in the right spot. It works for everybody depending on body size, okay? Good. This also allows your elbow now to be in front of your torso instead of back here, where you can't move. Gosh, you're like, do you exercise? Do you work out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're built like a rock. Good. Good, okay. All right, here we go, 6. Sorry, 6, here we go. Don't lean into them. You gave it away too fast. You're too, whoa, everywhere. 6, here we go. Yeah, I would never do it like that. But I'm trying to be as still as I can for as long as I can. Okay, try again. Bring the music to you. Remember, create dialogue, not just transmitting knowledge. Wrist. Torso. Start to breathe. Open it up. And that's a hard spot because you can turn it around so fast, right? Da-da-bum-bum, da-da-bum-bum. So in your brain, you just have to think, don't go down. No down piece. Because you'll turn it around quickly. Hey, good job. Torso. That's the one we want to see the most.
Okay.
Get the torso active. Okay. What are our 4 areas of listening?
Balance, tone, musicianship, pulse.
Pulse. There you go. And what's really